Look at the map of the Middle East right now. It is flashing red. This conflict between the US and Iran is an active, volatile crisis that is currently moving the region toward a direct military escalation. The timeline of events shows a clear pattern of escalation. We have moved from targeted military strikes to fragile ceasefires, and now to naval blockades and a looming crisis in the Strait of Hormuz. This topographical map shows exactly why that geography is so vulnerable. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow bottleneck where 20% of the world's daily oil supply passes through. When that supply is threatened, the ripple effect is immediate. This chart illustrates the chain reaction. A squeeze on global oil markets increases transportation costs, which in turn raises the price of food for consumers. Beyond the economic data, there is a measurable psychological impact. This rising red trend line tracks the spike in public fear and anxiety that occurs when the threat of war dominates our cities and our screens. The 24-hour news cycle focuses almost entirely on these surface symptoms, the gas prices and the missile strikes, while leaving the actual structural causes of the hostility unexplored. To understand how we reach this point and how to move past it, we need a different analytical framework, one that views this modern conflict through 1,400 years of Islamic intellectual tradition. The first pillar we must apply is Al-Adl, the Islamic concept of justice. True justice does not start the clock at the present moment. It requires examining the complete historical record to find where the injury actually began. To understand the animosity we see today, we have to rewind the geopolitical timeline away from the current blockade and go back over 70 years to 1953. This is a declassified CIA document. It provides the evidence of Western covert operations explicitly designed to overthrow Iran's democratically elected government in order to maintain control over its oil resources. The specific target of that coup was Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh. By dismantling his government, foreign powers intentionally stripped millions of people of their political autonomy. In Islamic jurisprudence, this deliberate removal of agency and theft of resources is defined as dhulm, oppression. It is the act of placing something where it does not rightfully belong. This historical oppression did not happen in a vacuum. It set off a chain reaction of global instability that directly feeds the red alert map we are seeing today. Our second pillar is hikmah, or wisdom. In this context, wisdom is the ability to recognize established historical patterns so we can avoid repeating catastrophic mistakes. This matrix analyzes diagnostic data from recent Western military interventions. To predict the outcome of a war with Iran, look at the results in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya. Look at the specific metrics for Afghanistan. 2 decades of intervention resulted in severe economic contraction, widespread warlordism, and ultimate state failure. In Iraq, the removal of the existing government triggered massive sectarian violence and critical civil war risk. In Libya, foreign involvement fractured the country into anarchy, with dozens of armed groups fighting for control over oil production. This regional instability is never contained. When foreign policy fails to consider these outcomes, the fallout eventually reaches the Western consumer at the fuel pump. The diagnostic results across these 3 separate cases are consistent. This historical pattern suggests that military action against Iran will not result in stability, but will instead reproduce the same cycle of collapse and chaos. This brings us to the third pillar, salam, or peace. Achieving peace requires moving past political caricatures and recognizing the humanity, history, and dignity of the people on the other side of the conflict. While modern political rhetoric often reduces Iran to a security threat, the historical reality reveals a civilization that shaped global progress. Pioneers like Ibn Sina in medicine and al-Biruni in anthropology provided the foundational knowledge used by the entire world. But the consequences of escalating hostility reach far beyond the Middle East. The aggressive rhetoric used to justify international conflict causes immediate collateral damage right here at home. Every time foreign policy leaders push for war abroad, there is a measurable spike in domestic Islamophobia. Millions of American Muslims face heightened hostility and discrimination in their own neighborhoods. You cannot wage an aggressive war overseas and expect to maintain peace at home. The struggle for salam is unified. It is a global requirement. Ignoring this history only guarantees more suffering. Reacting to complex geopolitical crises with blunt military force consistently perpetuates cycles of oppression and global economic instability. To break that cycle, we must apply a different set of principles. We must replace knee-jerk aggression with calm analysis, demand justice that addresses historical roots, and prioritize genuine dialogue over force. Navigating these heavy geopolitical realities can feel overwhelming, but the Islamic tradition offers a core reassurance. With hardship comes ease. True resilience is built during these exact moments of crisis. You have a role to play. Start by learning the facts behind the headlines. Speak wisely when discussing these conflicts. Vote for policies that favor diplomatic engagement, and actively support the communities in your own city. Of the 3 pillars we discussed today, justice, wisdom, or peace, which do you think is the most critical for resolving the current crisis? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for exploring the world through the Muslim lens. Until next time, As-salamu Alaykum. Peace be upon you.